G'day, good evening. Thanks for listening. This is a show on organic gardening, horticulture and agriculture, focusing on plant science, soil science and microbiology. The information is fact-checked and the websites or papers that are discussed will be put in the description below. And if you're watching this back, I don't know what today's show is yet. It's an unplanned show again. So the title that's been up is because I'll wait for it and see how it eventuates, see what happens in chat. So I'll give it a little bit of time until another 60 to 70 seconds for cool folk to arrive, like Genetic Memory Farms. It says, good evening, good peeps. I hope all are safe and happy. How the turtles doing? For those that didn't watch last week's was a turtle show. I was very excited. It was so excellent. It was really cool. Oh, to answer your question, they're doing blooming excellent. Thanks, mate. They've released 7 and kept 1. Released 7 in my pond and kept 1. And just before I get to the 30 more seconds till the show starts, on the turtles, I was reading that it's rare for them to be in areas where it ices over. And it says right where I live that an occasion happened where a pond iced over and the turtles lived under it. Well, I've got those ponds, and you've seen me. I've had 5 inches of snow here. So they're really cold-water turtles. They can, what's it called? They can hibernate. They hibernate in the winter. But there's a word for it. It starts with B. Anyway, 2 minutes is up, and I don't know what we're going to be talking about today. It won't be turtles again, because it'll be plant science, soil science, and microbiology related. I was just very excited last week. I was so excited. I was still a bit ambitious. Blooming is good times. So if you've got something that we can chat about, please put it in the description in the chat box. G'day to GMFs. He says, good evening, good peeps. I hope you're all safe and happy. How's the turtle going? Turtle's blooming excellent, mate. It was a good show last week. Thanks for helping. And then he goes on to say, awesome. I am happy to hear the turtles are doing well. Doing as well as they could. Yeah. Cleaned up, all nice. Only got 1 hatchling. And the plant science, soil science, and microbiology stuff, my studies have wrapped up for this semester. So I got 4 exams to sit, 2 next weekend and 2 the weekend after. Hang on, next weekend and 2 the week after. That's on plant science, soil science, and microbiology. Cell signaling was the hardest one I found this semester. There was some good stuff in there, some stuff I can talk about on later shows, like biopesticide, biofertilizer, on how to make it. And that will help in people's teas and stuff like that for us organic folk. So it wasn't a waste of my time in my studies this semester. I learned a couple of good things and got some good techniques on stress. But back to the topic. So this might be a short show today. I've been in a short one for a while. Pardon me. 4 minutes. So if you're listening to this, back something in chat, something plant science, soil science, microbiology related. We can, any questions even better. The discussions are still pretty cool. Or I didn't mind a few product reviews. That was good to do that live. I don't mind doing that, talking out loud, going through my thought pattern live. And that genetics one was a good. There was a good question that a couple of shows ago on the genetics. I enjoyed that one, where I didn't know it, and you have to work back through scientific processes to see how it might come about and what things you can eliminate to get to an answer. That was pretty fun. I like the technical stuff. Keeps my brain interested. Oh, and here's some plant science. You know that new species of rock sprouts that I created. They weren't good. They just weren't good at all. They didn't eventuate. The Brussels sprouts, it grew broccoli in the middle and Brussels sprouts on the outside, and they didn't grow evenly. So the Brussels sprouts it was just a really uncommon match, and it was too bunched up, and it grew too tightly. It needs to stretch. Oh, there you go. It needs gibberellic acid. That would fix, then the plant will grow to 10 feet tall. That's a blooming suggestion. Thanks for helping me, everybody. Because it grew like it had a dominant DWF gene. And you know from plant science, that means a dominant dwarfing gene when the nodes are too close together. So to overcome that, or to fix that, you'd use gibberellic acid. And I've got a few of my microbes that do that produce gibberellic acid. So I could have, it's something to test. I don't know if I will test it. There's so much I've got to do. But yeah, it's good fun. Oh, here we go. Genetic Memory Farm says, I was hoping in the next few years to go outside to greenhouses and learn some more aggressive yet organic and homemade IPM. Would you be a good tool to have? IPM would be a good tool to have. Oh, IPM would be a good tool. Sorry about that. Homemade IPM. That's what you need the organic IPMs if you're going to be an organic farmer like myself, because you can't go and have a problem and all of a sudden go, oh, I'm getting overrun here, or I've got a big, massive infestation, and it's too late. So, yeah, it's something that you must have nearly down pat, because a lot of problems happen. You're working against nature, and like Bouveria bassiana is fantastic, so that eliminates quite a lot. There's a few different things you can have in your toolkit that will help in different areas, and I've done 2 courses on organic farming, and they help me a lot with my practices and getting things in order for the bad events to happen. So when they do happen, you've got the tools to work with. You've got different things. All right, this is happening, so you got to work with this one, or it's another thing that you work with, so you got to change that, and not use any pesticides, herbicides, fungicides that are purchased or chemically driven. It's all bios. That's cool. So that's a big topic. But my organic, I really said, mate, you'd be a really good candidate to do the organic farming course. Organic Farming for Sustainable Agricultural Production. It's a 12-week course. You can do it online. I'd really suggest you do that, because that was the opening for my going, wow, I need to elaborate on all these different stuff that it just touched on. And that got me more so in the microbes, where I learned more, what, microbes control and do all these things? What, you can get microbes to actually produce fertilizer and pesticides for you? What? Why aren't people doing that? Well, that is a good question. Why aren't people doing that? But yeah, that's a niche market in Australia, that's for sure. Which I was going to get in, blah, blah. I was getting into the money thing. But, yeah, I don't know what else to add to that. Genetic Memory Farms, without going into a lot of detail. But that course, if you really want your tools, if you really want your more knowledge and information and slides and things like that that you can access for the trouble times, I'd suggest that one course. It'll cost you, it's $50 Australian, probably, $30 US to sit the exam. And you don't have to sit the exam, because you still can get all the assignments and stuff done, and they'll mark the assignments for you without paying. But that's a good start, because it just gives you the different processes, like the looking what to look for, what to mark for, how to rotate crops, why you should do all these things to get the outcome. And it doesn't. The reason why it's not popular, or organics is very, I don't know what's the word, not popular, is because marketing can't really make much of it. Big manufacturers hate it because they produce chemicals at very cheap prices, and well, you can't do that. It's really to do with microbes and organic matter, and using that in the right areas to get your results. And to be honest, you should see my blooming. I should nearly take you for a garlic tour. I don't know if my internet will work that far, but it's way, way better than I could have ever expected. So it's the practices that I've implemented are just amazing. And I've only put effort in. I haven't really spent money. I've spent money on petrol for the lawnmower, because you've got to make compost, the grass clippings. But otherwise than that, I haven't really spent much. My microbes, I use sparingly, so I try and multiply them. Yeah. So for what I've achieved for the amount of money I put in is nearly fascinating. And also, I live off grid, so I don't pay for electricity. You're right. I probably should. Well, no, it's only an option, mate. You don't. It's just an option for achieving good tools in the organic sector. Because you hear a lot of stuff about people that works for them, what you should do, what you should do, but that might just work for them. And I stopped years ago listening or getting knowledge from those types of videos, because I fear that they're talking on their situations, not on actual scientific topics that I can use in my situation. And it'll always be different because the different environments, different climates, substrates, all sorts, microbes. So that's why I like having the education to put in at the right time. Yeah. GMF says, it's 12 minutes. GMF says, I have seen some of your garlic. Makes me want to make bangna quarter. Basically, garlic dip for bread. Veg everything. Yes, yum. Yeah, I'm cutting the scapes off at the moment. Everything's just going really well. The garden is outstanding. My garden is really good. And all I do is what I speak. And it's microbes, I tell you, it's microbes that are really doing it. I'm not anything special. My substrate, my soil I'm working with is quite poor. So it's, just by getting a little bit of compost underneath the soil for the roots to gain energy out of, then the microbes to break all that down and start a little biosphere. It starts a food cycle web. It's just working really well. I'm stoked. Let alone when I can get some more money. I'll do it all properly. Not properly, but on a larger scale would be nice. Anyway, should I wrap the show up? We had been talking a bit about IPM, but you're looking for more tools, and that would be a good starting thing. Would be that course. I don't know how to elaborate on that because it's without highly going into it and showing the course structure and data. I don't know. What do you want? I put the show on for you people, so I'm here and answering and helping you cool folk. Genetic Memory Farm says, yeah, we are all just microbe farmers, really. Microbes grow the plants. And I got an email this morning. I found it rather interesting. I thought, you're a bit behind the times here. It was from the New Phytologist, and that's a pretty cool mag. And it says microbes. There's a new paper out written from the Swedish University on microbes as hidden or prominent players in plant life. And I thought, what? That's so old school, because see, we're into organics. We know this. Most people aren't into. Actually, here, I'll share the screen. You go, what's he on about? How do I get back to where I was? Oh, there it is. It's just a good example. Share screen. So here's an email I got here, and it says microbes as hidden or prominent players in plant life, from Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences. I thought, because we're so much into organics, this is what I focus on, is the microbes. And most people haven't got the education in it because they don't use it, because they use NPK fertilizer. They don't need to know about microbes in there. And I just thought to myself, I just shook my head and went, wow, it really is a new thing, this organics. So there you go. Oops. Genetic Memory Farm says, I really have to start with construction practices because I'm planning to move to a colder climate. I need to figure out how to build a year-round greenhouse using geothermal minimal energy. Ah, awesome. You'll be using solar panels, I hope. It gets cold where I am. It doesn't get crazy cold. It doesn't get into the negative or down to the 0F. But yeah, it's solar. Solar's the go. You just got to angle it right to the sun where you are. If you're moving more north, you'll just have to angle it. That's all to catch. And the solar panels now they put out, they're pretty blooming good. I got to get 4 more. They're 450 watts a panel. And because I'm an electrician, I pay $120. So I'm getting 4 of them for 500. So yes, that's 1,800 watts worth for 500 with a 25-year warranty. Is there anything I can help you out with? We've talked a little bit on that. How can I take the show? What can we do, people? There's a few people watching, so what do you reckon? Are we going to save the questions till next week? Or is there anything that you'd like me to elaborate on today? So I don't mind. I like these topics. They're fun. So I'll give it a few minutes. I'll give it to a 20-minute mark. It's been 18:47 now. Genetic Memory Farm says, in the US, we have things like the Rodale Institute that taught composting and microbes before World War II, taught fertilizers. We have tradition of organics. We just forgot it. Yeah. Or I don't think forgot it. I think big marketing person bribed and paid their way into the sector. We'll pay for advertising. We'll pay for reps. We'll pay for you to sell our product. We'll pay for you to specialize in our product. We'll pay for you to try and sell our product as your shop, as being the shop owner. We'll bribe you. It's the way it's gone for the last 100 years. Now people are realizing it's polluting the planet, wrecking all the water systems and waterways. It's going to eventually kill us. So they think, oh, we better change this. And India's been doing it for decades because of their massive population. So I've had some fantastic education from what I see in the sector as well. what the agronomists in my neighbouring farms say, and they get no results. And I'm not putting them down, it's just a different education. I'm very privileged to have learnt what I have in regarding organics. That's why I like to share the information. So if there's any questions on that, please throw it in. But yeah, I like your statement, mate. Pretty cool. Let's hope the US does get back into it. Or need people like you and me and us, you folk listening, to use the microbes, get the good results, share it with others, and they go, what? You're only using microbes when you don't buy anything from the shop ever? That's right. Well, yeah, might buy a spade or some tools that are broken, but see that how it cuts down on a lot of jobs, a lot of profits. Probably even the government don't like organics because it's going to take out a fair portion of the work sector. No one, it's hard for them to transition into organics fast. You do need organic products. People need to buy the microbes. They can buy people that already produced a perfect carbon to nitrogen ratio of grass clippings. Someone can have a big field and make it. But there's no one doing it, or very little people doing it. Maybe that would, TMF says, maybe that would be a decent way to get a small income. Start teaching people who are interested to learn on your farm. Free labour too. Yeah. On my farm, I'd be only employing disabled people. That's where I'll be looking. So I can work a bit better with them. The normal person, they get there late, they blah, blah on their phone. I'm just not interested. So I got a short fuse, which is not to my advantage. But good suggestion. I like that. Thanks, mate. It would be good for the normal person to start showing people around and getting them to do this. But yeah, I'll be employing a few people. I'll be ringing Disabled Society and getting some disabled people who somehow work, get dropped off, and they can do a few hours. GMF says, yeah, but charge people to learn. You can make them pay to be there. Oh, okay. Yeah. Need a site for that. I don't like it being my site where I live. Just then you can pay handicapped. Yeah, that's what I'd rather work with. Hey, small tubes. G'day, small tubes. Here you go, mate. Looking for some questions if you got any. Small tubes. Then you can pay handicapped. Yeah, I'd pay the same rate as, or whatever the handicap rate is, but I'd rather give them an opportunity where they can learn and do stuff for themselves, because the handicapped have really just probably got one thing wrong, where more than likely they can go and do plant science and grow one particular crop and be highly successful. So it'd be good help for me too, good kicking, patting on my back if I could help some handicapped people get out of their sector and work for themselves. That'd be pretty cool. So I've thought about that a bit. And I haven't got, I'm also got a hobby farm. I'm also got just my veggie patch, which you've all seen, and I've got the animals. So I haven't really set up for that teaching in that sense. I like the online thing. I like showing people around the garden online where I can tell them. I just close the computer when I want them to go. It's quite nice. Instead of them, I wouldn't mind hanging around for a bit longer, and I've got stuff to do. Oh, can I just watch? No. Then I feel a bit rude. It's hard sometimes. Haven't really shown any slides since 25 minutes have been going. Just been talking about a bit of IPM stuff, organic IPM, and employment. So the show's going to wrap up very soon, I feel. If you haven't, please put your questions and comments in. So I don't know what to say. I have actually, there was a book that I had to read for, I asked my industrial biotechnology professor about organic inputs for spirulina cultivation for my Arthrospira platensis. Which is now called, it's called a new name. The science has changed it. Actually, that won't mean much. I'll see if I can bring it up again. So I've got to learn it. Close the box. Well, the question was about organic inputs for spirulina for my cultivation of my batch culture that I have. And I got the book of the professor wrote a book on it, and I got that book, and it turns out there's a website that you can go to get free books. Not that I promote this, but for people who are poor like me. Now I've got the book and I can read it and the sections that I want, where otherwise I would have to pay $50 to get it. So I was very grateful for that website. So if anybody's in the same book, same instance, struggling for books that they actually want, you can get on to me and I'll maybe help you out somehow. Email it to you or something. It's not a good thing to promote. If you still want people to have their education, get the books, but the writers are going to make money too. So it's a hard one there. It's more so for the folk who can't afford it. So it's pretty cool. I also wrote a question back on colony forming units, because we're still talking about microbes in the IPM. So how do I know that I'm getting a pack that says 1 billion with a B for Bob? How do I know that it's 1 billion colony forming units? Is there paperwork, or do I have to do a spread plate test or a serial dilution test to see what it is? Because the serial dilution test will tell you you've got to do 10 and 10 and 10 and take 9 out and put it in 1 gram. Take 9 out, put it in 1 mil. Take 9 out, put it in 1 mil, and keep diluting it. And then you take a swab at the end and put it on a plate, Petri dish, and count the units. And then you can times that units cells by your count by the amount of test tubes you put it into, and that's your times 10 to the power of, which gets you, that's your test for your colony forming units. But I don't want to do that. So I just asked, is there a paperwork that I can ask for when I purchase mine? I haven't got the answer. GMF says, I 100% support. That's the way. Yeah, we've got it. Well, most of us aren't rich and we can't afford these blimmin' things, but we still want the literature. We don't want to learn off the bro science man who's forgotten to add a few words or misspelt some things and says the wrong words. So it's an asset for me to have that. So yeah, if anyone wants, if you want, yeah. It's pretty easy too, just put it in and bang, comes up. I was quite surprised. And it's not a download, it's not from that bad one, the Bay one. It's not from them. It's a PDF one. It comes in PDF form. So it's just a simple chip. It's pretty good. I hope everybody's agriculture and gardening and all those practices are going pretty good. There's not many questions coming through. Excuse me. Maybe GMF, you could ask some ones that you might want me to elaborate. So maybe save it for next show. And next show we can go through a bit of IPM stuff. And try and remind me that at the start. I mean, you did today too, but I've sort of talked about other stuff. But I'll focus on that for you. So you can go on organic IPM. There you go. Organic IPMs might be next show. I'll try and remember that. And if I don't, can you please remind me? Because I think that would be pretty cool. Because it might even lead into, might even be able to make them 2 shows, because it might lead into week 11 of biotechnology. Industrial biotechnology was on biopesticides and bio fertilizer, which is microbes. So it's another input. Did I learn much out of that? Just trying to think back. Maybe a few more names to play with. When I order some new different species or genre of beneficial bacteria, I can try these different ones or read papers on them first to see if how they're going to suit me in my program. But I like the nitrogen fixing ones and phosphorus solubilizing. And GMF says, I'm about to seed harvest time, beans and basil. Any tips and tricks for that will be great. And Dylan Brassica Greens, Muskin. About to seed harvest. You're coming out of, you're going into winter. So you're going to harvest some seeds, I think. So any tips on harvesting seed? Is your question? Is that your question, mate? First frost in about 2 weeks off. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm harvesting clover at the moment. Yeah. What can I do here? No, that's not what I was looking for. No, this one. There he is. Oh, hang on. It's all right. Where is that? I've got this is what I do. So I'm harvesting clover at the moment, a few different species. I've got white clover and I've got some red clover outside to get to. The red actually is a little bit better at nitrogen producing than the green. So you're supposed to wait until they die. And you tear them off. Comes off really easy. And inside that is the seed. So if I was to crush them up real finely, and I do it in the wind, so these big husks blow off, you're left with the seed. So keeping that in mind, you'll upscale that. Like with my buckwheat, when I made quite a few pounds of it, I just got to isolate it and then get rid of the organic matter you don't want, because you want the seeds. Because if you store it with organic matter, that's just going to, fungi are going to love that, and they're going to start and break that down. And bang, before you know it, you're in trouble. That's all I can suggest. Keep it clean. Use a dehydrator if you need to go dehydrate faster. You've got one of them. Store and label it well. Try and do it in a area where you're not going to do it and allow other pollen or other things to spoil your seed crop. Make it good conditions, if you know what I mean. Don't stand out in the wind and let it blow off. Use a fan as an example. Okay. It's hard for me to look at your face, but that's a good time to show you. And deal for looks like the same structure of flower and seed as chives. Oh yeah, that's all I can suggest. Keep them really isolated, and you'll end up with good bags. And then the bags that you end up with will be nicely filtered out and have nothing in them, and the seed will be of nice maturity. So that's buckwheat seed. On the front, we've got the harvest date and what it is. And because I'll be using it, I don't have to have an expiry date. But yeah, it looks pretty good. And store it in the, if you want high percentage of germination, store it in the fridge. Well, impressive buckwheat makes great noodles. Oh yeah, thanks for that, mate. Yeah, it's something I had to do to produce my own seed to be a successful organic producer. In that way too, I allow the epigenetics to code my seeds, and therefore I'll have a better adjustment to my conditions next round, and then it'll go on the following season. It'll be just a better again, and before you know it, they'll just be thriving in my conditions, bringing out the genetic potential of that cultivar, because it's really, really adapted well to the surroundings, like it should have. Like as if well, remember, all I'm doing is mimicking a land race by doing that. So it comes back to be Mother Nature. We're just trying to, do you have bees? No, not yet. And if not, do you want a toy to get bees? Yes. Have you seen these things? This might spin you out. I'll put this in the link below because I support this is for this is an Australian invention. Check this out on bees. If you never thought about bees in the past, this will allow you to have them. I'm allergic to them. Look at that. They're called a flow hive. All you do is you get a tap at the bottom and your honey flows in off a tap, and that's it. That's how you harvest your blooming honey. Get a load of that, and it's invented from about 200 kilometers away from where I live. Flow hives. Wouldn't that be awesome? Just to put a mason jar under it, and it just keeps filling. And all of a sudden, oh, okay, I got myself a fair bit here. There you go. Is that all? I should nearly have one. No way, there can't be bundles. I don't know if I need that. Fair income. It can't be $140. I can nearly buy it. I thought they were 500. Let's have a look. Yeah, 100 saving. That's what I thought. Yeah, look. 1,000. Because they got Chinese knockoffs I've seen. Jesus. Oh, well. But anyway, that's what I support. I'm more interested in the flow hive. I don't know if you've seen them before. Pretty cool-o. You seem like a natural beekeeper. Yeah, I'd like to do it. I'm allergic to bees. If I get stung on the throat, it swells up and I die. I think about them all the time, love them. I got stacks in my garden, absolute lemon stacks of bees. I really need them too. So I'll put that description below. Yep. Well, yeah, the bees are important for crops that are not self-pollinators, like silver beet is a self-pollinator. Just been going through a bit of that. But other crops that aren't self-pollinating that need bees anyway. So by having your hive around, you'll guarantee a bumper crop of fruit. Kiwi fruit. There you go. I need bees for my kiwi fruit. I've got a few of them trees growing. Well, I think that's it for the show. Appreciate everybody listening, and thank you for watching back. If you like, press the thumbs up button. Need to keep a couple of EpiPens. Yeah, they're $250, mate. Well, maybe this Christmas I'll be able to buy one. Yeah, I'd like to at least get one EpiPen. It's on, geez, take a while for the ambulance to get here. Closest shop to me is bloody 40 minutes round trip. Closest corner store, little store thing. Some miles from anywhere. It's nice. I like it. Top of the mountain here. It's beautiful. Except for that storm last night. 60-kilometre-hour winds, 45-mile-an-hour winds, brought front on, ripping my solar panels. Anyway, thanks heaps for listening. Next week, if you're watching, please remind me for the organic IPM. And I can start going through that, because that in itself is going to take up probably 1 or 2 shows. And it's so relevant, because to be, like GMF said, to be a successful organic farmer, you need to have the tools. And by having this show here, you can just click back on this show and watch it a few times. And oh, that's right, I got to try that technique. Oh, that's right, I got to try that technique. So that's what I'll aim to do in that show with that title. Sort of go through the stuff that I know with the slides that I've got, and to see if put a database down type thing. GMF, National Health won't supply it. No. Oh, I haven't asked them. I doubt it though. They're pretty stingy in Australia. They don't give you much, and they've just actually changed the Medicare program, it's called, to make it a bit more tighter again. So we can't get this. They want us to pay more for this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, but Australia's a beautiful place. Yeah, pig's ass. Why do you try living here? If you've got a good job and work with good money, you'll do well. If you're opposite, if you're a researcher or a scholar or disabled or something like that, good luck. They support the working people really well. Enough about those negatives. Nearly at an hour. Fantastic. 43 minutes. Well, thanks everybody again. Get all your cool questions next week. I'll try and have next week, or definitely the week after. It'll be organic, but I don't remember next week. But organic IPM. So you can get all your questions ready. I hopefully have those answers back from the professor about those questions too. Same here. This isn't Hunger Games stuff over here. Yep. It's full on. That's why the more stuff we can learn about our farming, mate, the more we can be self-sufficient. Fully self-sufficient year round, remember? Grow in winter with our psychotrophic microbes. That haven't been done yet. But, you can do it. Remember, hey, I got pineapples. My pineapples survived. Oh, yeah. I got pineapples growing. I had snow on them, 5 inches of snow on them a few months ago. But yeah, I can grow pineapples. People say, no, you can't. That's impossible in the coldest region in Australia. They're tropical. Well, watch this show and you might learn. See you all next week. Thanks for everybody for listening. Thumbs up if you liked it again. Happy breeding, happy growing, and good health to you all. Appreciate your ears and help and typing. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.